is 1 second left, episode number 2, and we're going to start right now. This has been an interesting week in Toronto. We had the New York Knickerbockers come into town, and Jeremy Lin is the talk of the town in the NBA.
Talk of the town, talk of the bloody nation. And the Knicks are undefeated with him in the lineup, right? Or him running the show, I would say.
The Toronto crowd was cheering when Lin hit the three-pointer last night to beat the Raptors 90-87. So I guess my question to you, Ryan, is what do you think of the Toronto Raptor crowd cheering for the opposing team to win the game?
Well, I can't say I like it very much because to me it shows that it's not a very pro-Raptors crowd. A pro-basketball crowd, maybe, which maybe in the end is a good thing too, but I don't know if that says anything about the team, or does that say something maybe lack of knowledge as far as the fans go, where they're cheering for an opposing player, and not even like a well-known opposing player. I mean, he is right now the flavor of the month, not even flavor. Well, maybe more the flavor of the week.
Flavor of the week.
And
he's the Tim Tebow of NBA.
Yeah, except Tebow, at least by the end of it, had several weeks worth of his run, whereas Lin has 7 games now in the NFL.
He started February 4th, and we're now February 15th, so 11 days.
Yeah, and I'm not very happy with Toronto fans for cheering Lin at the end. That was a loss. They needed to win that, especially with the Spurs in town the next game, which is a tough win.
And they lost.
So, I mean, and they were close in that game.
113-106.
Close against the Lakers this past weekend. They beat the Celtics. Granted, the Celtics were had a game against LA the night before.
Yeah.
So, Lin comes in, and the place was packed.
And then we got the Charlotte Bobcats on Friday, which I'm going to see, and that should be a win. That should be a win.
They're winning, or they're losing right now.
Heading into the All-Star break.
They're still playing now, but they lost 15 straight going in tonight. But the Lin thing is nuts. I don't think that was a very good thing for the Toronto fans to be cheering a loss.
Right. So my other question for you, sorry to step on you, but the Toronto fans, if people who don't know, seem to be fickle, or they cheer for the non-superstar. They cheer for the Ty Domi.
Doug Gilmour, Wendell Clark,
right.
Lunch Pail.
And that's what they look for the Raptors as well, you can tell. Now my question to you is, be that hockey, be that baseball, be that basketball, are Toronto fans good fans? Are they loyal fans? I think they're loyal, but are they good overall fans?
I think so. I think they're good overall fans. It's just in the end, their heart lies in a guy who comes out and shows effort every night. And in basketball, unfortunately, I think a lot of the NBA players in the league have a bit of a prima donna reputation. There are very few muckers, I would say. I mean, Matt Bonner was really popular, and he was there tonight with the Spurs. And after the game tonight, he was doing a post-game interview and getting MVP chants from Raptors fans. I mean, he was the kind of player they liked. The Vince Carter they didn't like. So I think they're good fans. I just wish sometimes they would appreciate the Alexander McGillneys when they're around, that sort of thing, as opposed to just looking at Ty Domi and wanting Domi and everything, or Domi, however you pronounce his name. I always say Domi. But I think they're good. It's just I still question their knowledge with basketball. I don't know. I think they're still new basketball.
Well, and I mean, if you look at their statistics in terms of attendance, they're 16th, averaging 16.8 per night. That's pretty good.
Not bad for a losing team.
For a losing team, that's halfway. They're 50%.
And arguably no real superstar, no player to sort of gravitate
other than
towards.
maybe Bargnani, but I mean he's been hurt most of the year.
He's spent more time in the stands with the fans than on the court.
So, I mean if you were to ask me, I think I would suggest that Toronto fans are, they're an interesting group of people. I think for if you're a Leafs fan, you're very loyal. You're very loyal. You are
loyal.
You're almost blinded by your team. You don't look at it as a team where they don't have a superstar, so they gravitate towards the grinders, the muckers, and that could hurt them in the end because management won't trade the popular player, the popular mucker.
Well, and I think too, I mean, the one change I've noticed in the Toronto fans, I won't get into this too much, is I think they are becoming quicker now to turn on people than ever.
Yeah.
and they seem to turn on anybody for anything. It's almost like a nightly turn where they just find somebody to yell at. The next night the guy's
Larry
great.
Murphy treatment.
And it used to be, it took forever for the Leaf fans to do that to anybody or any sort of Toronto fan. But yeah, I still question whether or not what it has to do with the Raptors. Because the Raptors, I think, are still new. I think the general Toronto fan is more Leafs and Jays than anything.
Sure. Now, going back to Jeremy Lin, 11 game span or 11 days span. You can't really judge him too much, but I was reading an article today saying that in his draft class, a guy had predicted that he was going to be the second best point guard. So, looking at his stats the last 11 days, do you believe he is legitimate?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's tough for me to judge basketball players. I mean, you have a much better knowledge base for that than I do. He certainly looks that way, and the way he's, I mean, everyone from the talk shows to the commentators, the radio shows, everything seems to be, some of them are split, where they really believe in him, much like Tebow.
Mm-hmm.
Very polarizing. Some think he's just a flash in the pan, and then eventually the defenses will catch up, the coaches will scheme against him, and he'll be done. The one thing that I've noticed, though, and I've heard this mentioned, and it's not necessarily, a good thing, is turnovers. So, I mean, back to you. I mean, what do you think? I mean, your basketball knowledge is much higher than mine.
I think his turnovers are definitely a concern. I mean, playing under Mike D'Antoni, I think, is a great system for him. I mean, even tonight, the Knicks won again at home versus Sacramento, and they won 100-85. He had 10 points, 13 assists, which is great, but if you look at the turnover, he has 6. I mean, the team's winning, so you can't fault them there, and he is bringing some excitement to the game. I mean, I think once Carmelo Anthony comes back, I think that's really going to be the telltale sign if he's legitimate or not, because at that point you have 2 superstars you're playing with. You no longer can be the focal point of the offense to go score the 20 points that he's been averaging. He needs to give the ball to Stoudemire and Anthony to get their touches, to get their points. They've made a name for themselves in this league for a long time. It'll be then that I can give you a better estimate of if he is legitimate or not. I think he's a great story. I think last night being Asian Appreciation Night, I think that's huge for the Raptors. He had a standing-only crowd. I think it was great for that, and I wonder if that's the reason why they had such a outpouring of love for Lin when he scored that three-pointer.
It was a great game for the Raptors midweek crowd.
It was great for that. So I think Lin, give him a couple more games. I mean, he is a turnover machine, but he's talking the town, and that's great. I mean, that's great for the NBA coming out of a lockout situation. I think that's really good.
Well, and there was a good point too. And I heard earlier today that this is a New York team that needs to be good and big in the news, in the media. This definitely helps.
The beloved Toronto Maple Leafs in this town are sitting right now in 8th overall. Washington 1 game behind. Washington has 1 game in hand. So,
although neither one of them are doing too well.
Neither one of them are doing very well.
Leafs have lost 4 going into tonight, and Washington's at a 3-game losing streak at the moment.
So I guess my question to you then would be, losing 4 in a row, still being on the road, playing again tonight. Burke likes to make moves. He likes to make moves in January. We're now heading into February, very close to the trade deadline. Are the Leafs looking to make a major deal? Are they looking to make a blockbuster deal? If so, which players are they looking to move, in your opinion? And which players, if those players are the ones that they're going to look to move, which other players are expendable on this team?
Well, I think a blockbuster move is possible. I think Burke is the kind of GM who likes to make blockbuster moves if he can. The difference is, right now, we've got a team chock full of young players. Again, I think it's a lot of 3rd and 4th line pluggers, and as far as the defense goes, I don't think there's a lot of 1-2 defense on this team. They're more, even number 3s are tough, but a lot of 4, 5, and 6s. I would say definitely a blockbuster deal. I don't know that a player like Nash or Carter will do with this team because, again, I think money is too big. There's already talk now about Grabowski having to be paid close to what Phil Kessel is being paid and maybe asking for more than what Phil Kessel is getting. So a player like Grabowski is attractive, but I think, again, this team needs to keep who they have. I'm really worried about messing with the core of the team myself.
Now you're saying that for a team that, if you consider their overtime losses, is 1 game under 500.
Right, yes. Well, That's been an issue with this team for a long time.
Well, no, my question is not to belittle the team. The team is in 8th place. I think that's the great situation for them. But my question, I guess, really stems from which players do you believe are expendable going into the future?
Personally, I think the only one right now that I feel really good about keeping is Jake Gardner.
And then past that, you're
I'm
open
okay
to
pretty much to trade anybody else.
Anybody else.
If the price is right, I'm really get rid of them. I mean, Komisarek, sure, absolutely, but the contract
what are you
is
going to get for him?
Scary. Well, I'll take a bag of pucks for him.
Well, of course you would, but I'm saying I'm sure the Leafs would have to take on another equally bad contract.
Well, in that case, I go with the 4th or 5th round pick. I'll take the pick.
No, but I'm saying I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can trade. You can't give someone else that money and not take that.
If you can work it, I think you call the other 29 GMs, and if they'll give you a 5th round pick for it, you take it. I think there are some teams that will, there are teams with room under the cap, I think, who are looking for a 5th or 6th defenseman or even a 7th guy to sit in the bench.
But at his money, I don't know if that's what a team would jump on. You could be right.
Some might. I think it's hard, but I think it's a possibility. But yeah, right now Jake Gardner is my untouchable. I think now.
And you don't see a big trade coming to stir up this team after 4 straight losses?
I don't think so. I mean, unless they can. I mean, in order to stir the team up, I don't think that would be the reason to trade. Burke is going to try to make this team better,
right?
And that becomes then a question of who's out there. I mean, the talk of the top 6 forward that the top third of the league is looking for, and how many of them are there? There's only a handful. And whether or not those guys even move. I mean, look at Carter. People are talking about how he's movable, except for he's got, 10 years left on his contract.
Massive contract. Now, Carter, I think, would be an asset to any team. I think he goes to play in a place where he's happy, or Nashville's a place where he's happy and plays with other players that would accent his skills. Like if a Nash goes to San Jose or a Chicago or a Vancouver where they have playmakers, I think Nash becomes an asset. Carter, similarly, he plays with better wingers. I think maybe more pass-happy wingers, he becomes better too.
And what a lot of people don't, or a lot of people forget, is that we're coming up on a new CBA.
Right.
And there is talk that, I heard today in the radio that the salary cap may go up a certain percentage at the end of this season. They're forecasting it may go up a certain percentage, but they're also forecasting that when the new CBA is signed, the salary cap will drop.
Right.
So a lot of people don't realize that, when they're looking at Nash and Carter and these guys, that, that salary cap may come down even more.
Right.
And those contracts and the Komisarek contracts become even worse. So I don't know. I don't know who's going to be moving where, obviously, but I would love to see the Leafs make a big splash, but I would not trade away a lot of youth right now.
Right. I think if Toronto makes any sort of move, it's going to be with their defense. They're going to have to trade one of their defense to get a forward. That seems to be their strength on this team. I'm not sure about their goaltending. I think they have strong forwards, but they obviously need a legitimate top 6 forward. I don't know how to get that, being with the assets they have.
I don't either. I mean, I would say the closest guy I have other than Gardner would be Lupul. I think Lupul right now is a top 6 forward.
Oh, I think he's great. And I think Kessel's great too.
But I mean, Lupul, who knows if he'll sustain this for the rest of the year, and what's he going to do next year?
Right. Peyton Manning comes out today that looks like he had a 4th procedure on his neck.
Yeah.
Coming up to the deadline where the Colts have to decide one way or another. Are they keeping him? Are they letting him go?
Well, they're going to let him go.
So you believe they're going to let him go? So they're going to trade. They're going to let him go and draft Andrew Luck. That's
absolutely the only way. The only way the Peyton stays is Irsay has come out today, the owner of the Colts.
Yeah.
And said that if Peyton can stay, this can work out. If Peyton restructures his deal, I don't think Peyton's going to want to do that. He's going to have to be pretty desperate to stay with the Colts to do that, and the only way I see that happening is if nobody else out there wants to take a risk on the shoulder or the arm not being strong enough, and him and his agent decide there's going to be nowhere else to go, then he has to restructure.
Right.
But I think that is so far down the road. I don't think that's going to happen at all. I think he's going. I think he's going to get traded. Now the question is, does he get traded within the AFC or does he go to the NFC?
Mm-hmm.
There are definitely some teams in the AFC that he would fit well with. Miami Dolphins are a team for sure.
Mm-hmm. The
Jets are a team for sure. I mean, that would be interesting having both Manning brothers quarterbacking New York teams. The problem that I see too, if this becomes as bitter as some people are whispering about between Irsay and Peyton, The last thing Irsay wants is to have to come up against the Peyton Manning-led team in the AFC a couple times a year or in the playoffs. I would say, if anything, if Irsay has anything, he's going to trade him as far away as possible, which would mean the NFC and possibly even West Coast. Most of the teams in the NFC North are good, are fine. You're going to look at teams like the 49ers, Cardinals, Seahawks, those kind of teams that are looking for quarterbacks. Possibly even a team like the Chiefs. I mean, Castle's there, but whatever. That team has to do much better as well. Oakland, I mean, is Carson Palmer going to be there? I mean, those are AFC teams still, but who knows?
Okay, so now you mentioned a lot of teams there. What team, if given, like, let's say Peyton Manning's a free agent, what team is the best fit for Peyton Manning?
Depends. Peyton Manning, if he wants to win tomorrow, which probably will be Peyton Manning, you're looking at a team like the Jets. They're a team with a bunch of receivers, a good solid team right away, a good defense. He can go in and win with them possibly tomorrow. If he wants to be there for a little bit of a rebuild, possibly Miami. Or he goes West Coast, but I don't, they're an East Coast team.
Right. So, I mean, right now, from what I've been hearing, he's still not throwing with the zip he's known to have with his throwing arm, so we'll find out soon enough. So last night between Boston and the New York Rangers, it was a hard-fought game, but the Rangers came out victorious. The Rangers now are the league best team. Well, I guess behind Detroit, but Detroit's played 3 more games, so I would probably consider the Rangers in terms of winning percentage the best team. 79 points, 13 losses, 37 wins. That's a hell of a record. Are they the team to beat this year?
I don't think so. I don't think they're deep enough. I mean, I like their goalie, obviously, in Lundqvist. I like a couple of their top players. And I like they have a really young defense, which is good and bad. I don't think they're the top team. I think in the top team in the East is Boston still, and followed by Philadelphia. Philadelphia can get it going again. They're slacking off a little bit here lately. 3-4-3 in the last 10 and loses of 2 straight. But I think Philly is a better team all around, deeper team, bigger, stronger team, and I think you have to be that way to come out of the East this year.
And what about Pittsburgh? Do you think Pittsburgh, if healthy, do you think they're a legitimate cup contender this year?
I think so. Again, Crosby coming back anytime after the trade deadline is almost like a trade in itself, right? Is acquiring a top tier player. If he can come back from the neck injury and the concussion, post-concussion syndrome, then I think they're definitely top tier. Because Malkin is playing lights out this year, and Letang's having a great year, and they're a playoff winning team. There's a lot of players in that roster who've won playoff games.
So your team, out of those 4, we talked about Boston, New York, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia. If healthy, if everyone's healthy, who do you like?
I like Boston. I think Boston coming out of the East. Absolutely.
Right.
How about you? You're a West Coast guy. But
I know. I am a big Pittsburgh fan. I like their skill. I'm always a big skill fan. I'm also going to the stat. I love the stat, and Ryan knows this about me. I love the stat of goal differential. I'm huge on that. And for your team, Boston, they're plus 61. So I think that's a really strong number. Plus 61 means they had 184 goals scored and 123 goals against in 54 games for Boston. So that's a remarkable stat. If you consider the fact that the next team is Detroit, who's won 4 in a row and have won 21 games at home in a row, are plus 49. That's a 12 goal differential. That's the closest team. Boston looks like they're very solid this year. If you go into if you go to NHL.com or anything like that, and you go to goal differential, that's my stat for most good teams. If you look at their goal differential and it's a plus number and it's in the double digits or in the teens, you have a good team. If you're barely over the plus numbers, if you're in the minus numbers, you definitely have some weaknesses. Like if you look at Florida, for instance, have a great record, 27, 17, 11, but they're a minus 11 team. To me, that shows that the team's not as strong as their record shows.
Absolutely. So, if you look at the top, 16 teams here that we have up, the 2 teams in that top 16 that I would have trouble, or at least would definitely have to have had trouble forecasting being in the top 16 when it comes to playoff time. Florida and Ottawa are 2 that I would not have picked to be there, and they're both on the minus side in the goal differential. Ottawa is minus 8, and Florida is -11. So I definitely would have picked them probably not to make the playoffs this year, and they're there. So it's a good stat. I like the stat myself.
Yeah, it's a good stat. If you ever are curious to see, I mean, if you don't look at record solely, you look at goal differential. That is a real good indication of if your team is a legitimate contender this year. So teams like even Nashville, who don't have a superstar, are only +11. Good record, but only +11. So they're not even in the teens. Philadelphia is a +13. Though they've had some issues with their goaltending. Pittsburgh, a lot of injuries, but they're a +26. So I mean, so on and so forth. Columbus, obviously the worst team in the league, -53. So it's an indication of record and in terms of skill, I think.
Yeah, it's a great stat. I like it a lot.
So
you were saying, though, you definitely have Pittsburgh?
I think Pittsburgh, if healthy, are the team.
And if they're not healthy?
If they're not healthy, I like the Rangers. I don't know why this year. I mean, I think Boston's a hell of a team. There's no question about that. I just think the Rangers are a solid team. So
Pittsburgh.
I would say Pittsburgh, if healthy, are good. If not, I'll go with Rangers. And Ben, one of our writers, big Ranger fan, he also loves Lundqvist. And if you look at the goal against category, they are 110. I think
110 total goals against. Yeah.
That's really good. If you consider even Boston has great goaltending, everyone would admit that, is 123. That's a 13 goal differential. Lundqvist is a hell of a goalie. So that's who I'd probably go.
You know what's interesting? Ryan and I, for the last few years, have had Smitty and I have had these discussions the last few years about teams with up and coming teams we really like to watch and are waiting to come up. And looking at some of these stats here, St. Louis and LA. LA is even 0. They've scored 124 goals for, and 124 goals against.
Now that shows solid goaltending.
Absolutely, that's very few goals. Exactly. The other team we like to look at was St. Louis, and they're a +27 in goals for and against. And
they haven't given up a lot of goals either. 113. That's 23 goals more than the Rangers.
As compared to, as we were saying, Nashville, which is a +11 team. They've given up 150 goals.
And that's with Rennie and Nets.
Yeah, and Philly's given up 169 goals. So that's, it's in Chicago. There you go. They've scored 176, which is huge. But they've also given up 174.
And and that shows you why their weakness is, why they're losing 9 games in a row. Their goaltending just isn't giving them the effort they need.
No.
Okay, so we're going to end this episode here once again like we did last time with 1 second left. We always go with a little rapid fire. So the last question that we have is, which teams in each major sports do you hate or dislike the most? So we're going to start with the NHL. Which team do you dislike or have no interest in the most?
Canadians. I'm a Leaf fan.
Right.
Canadians are
there's no reason into this.
All right.
So I got Columbus. I have no interest in Columbus.
All right. Who's your least favorite or least interested in team in the NFL?
Oh. See, not being a huge NFL fanatic like Ryan is, I probably would go. What team do I don't like? Jacksonville. I don't care about Jacksonville.
Yeah. See, a Raiders fan, AFC West.
Sure.
So it's a tie.
Okay.
Broncos, Chiefs, and Chargers.
Sure.
And was the Seahawks as well when they used to be in the AFC West. They're in the NFC now, though.
So there you go. So next one we have baseball. Who do you dislike in baseball? Oh,
Yankees. Jays fan. Yankees suck. And you?
The Texas Rangers.
Texas Rangers.
They just seem to be beating my Angels the last couple of years, and they just keep getting better, and I hate them for it. I mean, hell of a team, but no.
George Bush used to own that team.
Yeah, well, that probably makes me not like them even more. All right, so last major sport, basketball, NBA.
The NBA. I'm going to go with the LA Lakers. Can't stand them. Cannot stand them. Can't stand you.
Well, I'm going to go with I think obvious choice is I don't like the Miami Heat. Not because Bosch went there, not because I don't think they should all play together. I just think they're arrogant. All right, send us in some questions, any topics you want us to go over. Our emails are on our website, onesecondleft.com. We're also on Twitter. Thanks for checking us out. Hopefully we're going to do an MLB roundtable coming up too.
Very soon, hopefully. Just around spring training.
Yeah. So thanks for tuning in, I guess. Anything else?
No, that's it. Other than, go Leafs go tonight. Against the Oilers.
Very good. I'll be going to the Raptor game on Friday, so I'll have a report on that while we come up. All right, cool. Later.